Here is the accusation. We are going to test it for the next few minutes. The chart sheet is like a formality. European champion Spain, 74% of the ball, 27 shots, 11 corners against a nation of barely half a million people playing their first ever World Cup match. This verdict was supposed to be written before kickoff, and yet the scoreboard in Atalanta says nil-nil. So today we cross-examine the comfortable assumption that possession is the same thing as control, that a giant always beats an island because Cape Verde did not park a bus and get lucky. They built a case brick by brick, and Spain could not break it. So let us look at the evidence. The court is in session and you are the jury. Welcome to the tactics room from European Footballer Adda, where we slowed the game down until the patterns confess. If you like your football explained rather than just shouted about, tap subscribe. It genuinely helps the channel call more of these to the stand. Now, hands on the rule book and let us hear both the sides. It came out in a 4-3-3, and I want to define that shape because everything flows from it. Rodri sat as the single pivot, the one deep midfielder who collects the ball from the centre backs and starts every attack. Ahead of him, Pedri and Fabian Ruiz did the creating, with Pedri drifting into what we call the half spaces, those vertical lanes between the opposition fullback and centre back. The cracks where a clever passer can hurt you. Marcus Llorente and Marc Cucurella pushed high from fullback to give the team width, and the front line of Ferran Torres, Mikel Oyarzabal, and Gavi was meant to stretch the last line. Crucially, Lamine Yamal and Nico Williams, Spain's two most direct dribblers, started on the bench. Mark that point. Cape Verde under Bubista set up to defend and to defend properly. On paper, it was a 4-1-4-1, but the moment Spain settled on the ball, it became a back five, a deep, narrow block with almost no gap between the lines. Pina screened in front of the defense. The two centre backs, Dani Borges and Pico Lopes, anchored everything. And Ryan Mendes was left high as the lone outlet, the single forward you aim for when you finally win the ball back. The plan was simple and ruthless: concede the ball, deny the space, and trust the wall. From the first whistle, Spain led siege, and the siege never breached. They monopolized the ball, but the build-up was slow and the angles were predictable. Oyarzabal, the central striker, did not touch the ball until around the half hour. Spain managed only one shot on target before the 38th minute. This is the first thing the highlights will hide: dominance without penetration. And then came the clearest moment of the night, and the one that probably decided it. Around 41st minute, Cucurella overloaded the left, meaning Spain deliberately put more bodies on that side than Cape Verde could match, and his knockdown fell to Ferran Torres 6 yards out. Torres met it cleanly and rattled the crossbar. The rebound dropped to Oyarzabal, whose looping header looked in all the way until the 40-year-old goalkeeper Vozinha threw a hand up and tipped it over. Two gilt-edged chances in 3 seconds, and the wall held. This pattern repeated after the break. Spain camped in the Cape Verde half, the crowd whistling every sideways pass, and still the cleanest looks were smothered. The defending second half image came late after Spain had thrown on their attackers. Dani Olmo threaded Oyarzabal in behind, one on one with the chance to win it, and Pico Lopes produced a goal saving block, the slight tackle of a man who had read the script. This is why a clean sheet on a night like this is a confession. It tells you the defending team chose suffering on purpose and executed it to the last second. And here is the detail that makes the defending almost absurd. Cape Verde committed one foul in the entire match. Just one. You do not hold the European champions for 90 minutes by hacking them down. You do it with position, timing, and concentration. Vozinha finished with 7 saves and the man of the match award. His backline threw itself in front of 9 shots and cleared everything that came near. That is not luck. That is a defensive performance you could teach from. Follow the paper trail because the passing map explains the frustration. Spain completed over 700 passes. Let that sink in. 700 passes. But look at the shape of it. A tidy U around the edge of Cape Verde's block, center back to pivot to half space and back again. Rarely through the lines. When the front door is bolted, you are forced to go around the house, and Spain went around it with crosses. 36 were attempted, only 6 found a teammate. Slinging high balls into a packed 6-yard box is exactly what a back five wants you to do. Heads and legs in blue kept winning the first contact. The lesson here is for the casual fan as much as the coach. Passing volume is a vanity metric if it does not move the defenders. Cape Verde barely chased the ball because chasing it would have pulled them out of shape. They let Spain have the wide areas and protected the middle, and the map shows a team that defended with its brain, not its lungs. Fuente, to his credit, recognized the problem and filed his amendments. Around the hour, he sent on Mikel Merino to add a body arriving late in the box. Then to a roar came Lamine Yamal with under 20 minutes left. The 1 versus 1 dribbler Spain had been missing. The player who can beat a man and create the half yard a block like this denies. Danny Olmo followed for more intervention between the lines, and finally Nico Williams arrived as Spain went all in, sacrificing the holding midfielder for another attacker. Yamal did lift them. He stretched the block, created space for others, and it was almost pass that nearly won it. But the changes also asked a fair question of the starting 11. If your plan to break a low block depends on 2 dribblers, why were both watching from the bench until the 71st minute? Cape Verde's counter move was quieter and just as important. Fresh legs out wide late on to keep doubling up on Yamal, refusing to let one player solve the puzzle alone. Plot this momentum and you see a strange lopsided wave. Spain are above the line almost the entire match. Territory, shots, corners, but the wave never spikes into the danger zone the way the position suggests it should, except around that 41st minute flurry and the late Olmo chance. And then right at the death, the wave flips. From a corner, Dine Borges climbed highest and powered a header that forced Unai Simon into a save. Read that again. The team that was supposed to lose by 3 nearly won it in stoppage time. That is the timeline of an upset that was a single fingertip from being even bigger. So, how do we rule? Per manager, what worked and what misfired? Well, the court's finding is this. Possession is not a synonym for control, and Cape Verde just submitted 90 minutes of proof. Spain will get better as Yamal-and-Williams returns to the 11. The talent is not on trial. But for one night, a team of islanders out-organized the European champions and walked away with a clean sheet and a point that felt like a trophy. So here is the question I want to deliberate in the comments. Was this Spain being wasteful or Cape Verde being genuinely, repeatedly good? Would that block hold a second time? Make your case below. If this breakdown helped you see the game differently, hit like, subscribe, and ring the bell. So the next session lands the moment it drops. The tactics room is adjourned.